Alhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Inshallah, I'm going to be doing the Tafseer and the grammatical analysis of Surah AlMa'oon. Inshallah, we will be discussing what AlMa'oon means during the course of the surah. But first of all, we need to discuss whether this is a Makki surah or a Madani surah. Makki surah meaning, was it revealed before the Hijrah, the Prophet ﷺ in Makkatul Mukarramah, or was it revealed after the Hijrah of the Prophet ﷺ in Al-Madinatul Munawwara? So there are a couple of opinions about this, and some Sahaba have said that it's in Mecca, it was revealed in Mecca, and others have said that it was revealed in Medina. And the biggest clue to the revelation of it being in Medina is the discussion of the munafiqeen in the surah. The issue of the munafiqeen and the hypocrites came about in Al-Madinatul Munawwara. So because of that particular situation, more scholars are inclined towards suggesting that this surah was revealed in Al-Madinah. Nevertheless, our focus should be on the translation and understanding and what lessons we can derive from it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He starts the surah by saying, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. Do you see the person who denies ad-deen? Now, this has been a very common methodology of the Quran, that a question is asked, and that question is asked to pique the interest of the person who's listening. And this is done throughout the Quran. For example, Al-Qari'ah, Mal-Qari'ah, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا-الْقَارِيَةُ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ الْحَاقَّةُ مَا-الْحَاقَّةُ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا-الْحَاقَّةُ. So the example of that is that if you ask somebody, do you know what happened today? And that person will immediately have an interest in knowing what happened today. Similar is the situation with these questions that the Quran asks. The Quran asks these questions so that people, they pay attention and listen attentively. So the question is, first of all, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. Do you see the person who denies ad-deen? So the question is asked that, did you see the person? Directly the Prophet ﷺ is being asked, but indirectly all of us are being asked that, have you ever seen a person who does these things? He denounces or denies the deen. So a deen, it can have two meanings. Deen in the sense that inna deena inda Allah al-Islam, the only deen acceptable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the only religion or way of life acceptable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Islam. So this is one of the meanings. Do you see the person who denies religion in general? So when a person, he denies religion in general, the consequence of that will be that he will do the following things that are mentioned. The other meaning of deen is as in Malik Yawmiddin. Malik Yawmiddin, the master of the day of recompense. Ad-deen is from the word ad-dain. Ad-dain means when you pay a loan back or take a loan. A loan is called ad-dain. So the day of recompense is called the day of recompense, or the Yawmuddin, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold people accountable, and during that accountability, recompense will be made either in the form of punishment or in the form of reward. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do you see the person who denies this recompense? Because there's no feeling of consequence to a person's actions, and no feeling that I will be punished or I will be rewarded for my actions, then the person doesn't care what he does. And then he will engage in those things that are mentioned in the next ayat, that فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمِ. That is the person who pushes away the yatim, the orphan. So, generally speaking, it's a natural instinct for a person who has any type of morals or any type of conscience, that when he comes across an orphan, he will feel sorry for him and he will do the utmost in trying to make the person happy, make this yatim happy. And there are so many hadith that talk about the importance of doing that. There are many verses in the Quran also that talk about the rights of the orphan. The rights of the orphan are generally, they are undermined because the orphan doesn't have any person, any adult who can take care of his or her rights. There's no spokesperson that will do that. So that's why children in foster care, they get abused so much in so many ways. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned this issue, that the person who does not care about the day of recompense, or doesn't believe in the day of recompense, or has no religion, one of his things will be that he will push away the yatim, the orphan. What is the definition of orphan? We need to understand that also Islamically. In Islam, an orphan is the person who, before the age of puberty, he loses his father, even if he has his mother alive. In the Western sense, the orphan is the person who loses both of his parents. But Islamically, the definition of al-yatim is the orphan, that the person who loses his father before he himself or she herself reaches the age of puberty. And again, there's a hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ said that the person who rubs his hand over the head of the orphan out of affection, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives the sins of the person according to how many hairs he touches. So that is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala appreciates the love and affection towards the orphan. And remember, our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself was an orphan. He lost his father in childhood. Even his father passed away before he was born. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمِ, this is the one who pushes away the yatim. And before I move forward to the next ayah, the Prophet ﷺ, he told people that the person who takes care of the orphan and myself will be like this on the Day of Judgment, meaning they'll be so close that the closeness between the person and the guardian of the orphan, the person who took care of the rights of the orphan, will be such that it will be this close, like the closeness of these two fingers. The next ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ, and he doesn't encourage upon the feeding of the miskeen, the poor person. Now, remember here that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. The meaning that we get from it is the feeding of the miskeen, but the word used is the food of the miskeen. It's as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to say and impress upon us the understanding that the food that has been written for the orphan, it's his food anyway. It's his food anyway. Otherwise, it would make more sense for the word it'amul miskeen to be used, meaning to actually feed the orphan. But the word is used is the food of the poor person. وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ, he doesn't encourage upon the food of the miskeen. So this is one fine point that we can derive from the word ta'am as opposed to ita'am. So this is the second quality of the person who does not believe in either a religion or he doesn't believe in the day of recompense. And again, before we move forward, one might have a question that there may be so many people out there that don't believe in religion, but yet they are morally good, they don't steal, they don't cheat, and they don't have bad qualities. Within them there is a morality that is there just because they are good human beings. So that is true to a certain degree. But then there are certain qualities and certain issues that we will always need religious guidance for. And if we don't have religious guidance, then our understanding of what is moral and what is immoral will be based upon what society dictates. Say, for example, the issue of relationship before marriage. A person might think that, okay, I love this girl, I love this woman, why not I start living with her just like a husband? Why go through all the formalities of having a nikah ceremony or a wedding done? Why not just start cohabiting? So the society in this day and age accepts that as a moral way of life. However, 30, 40, 50 years ago, this would have been unthinkable even in non-Muslim societies. So when you don't have religion to give you a guideline or give you boundaries, then the moral standard of a person is dictated by society. So that is why it's always important to have religion, to have guiding principles, to have a book from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that will guide us. And then obviously to practice what that book teaches us. Then after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the munafiqeen, those people that pray with the intention of just showing off to people. Allah says, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. Wail is for the musallin, for the people that pray, and then what kind of prayer do they pray? That is mentioned in the next ayah. But what does wail mean? Wail can either mean destruction, or curse, or it is a valley in the depths of Jahannam. And this is more appropriate here because in another verse of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ فِي الدَّرْكِ الْأَسْفَلِ مِنَ النَّارِ. Indeed, the munafiqeen, they are at the lowest point in the hellfire. So, wail here is more appropriate to mean this valley which is called wail in the hellfire. So wail is for those people that pray, but what is the quality of the prayer? الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. Those people that are forgetful of their prayers. Meaning that they are forgetful in the sense that they don't pay attention to it. Otherwise, sahwa, forgetfulness, is a natural human instinct that happens to any one of us from time to time. That a person truly, he's so involved in his work and everything, he's focusing on writing an essay or writing a book or doing something very important, and in the course of that happening, a person completely forgets innocently that he's missed his salat. So a person innocently missing the salat or forgetting about it, it can happen. There's a hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ said, مَنْ نَامَ عَنْ صَلَاةٍ أَوْ نَسِيَهَا فَلْيُصَلِّهَا إِذَا استيقظ أو ذكرها أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Whoever falls asleep at the time of prayer accidentally, or he actually forgets about the prayer, then he should pray it when he remembers or when he wakes up. So forgetfulness, innocent forgetfulness, is acceptable and there's nothing wrong with it. It can happen to anyone. But what this means is that they are neglectful of the prayer. الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. They are neglectful of their prayer. That is why they forget about it. الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ. Those people that do things to show off to people. Mura'at, it means to show off. The word riya is from this same word. Riya'an wa sum'atan, so that people say things about me and say good about me. This is what riya means. And the reality was such that during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the munafiqeen, even they did not dare to not pray in jama'ah. even they used to come for the Jama'ah, but الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ, they used to do it to show off. And finally, the last ayah, وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ, the sign of a person who denounces or denies the existence of the hereafter or a religion is they prevent al-ma'un. What is al-ma'un? There are two words, al-ma'an, which can mean something beneficial, and al-ma'un. And the most commonly understood meaning of this are those things that people generally ask for without any thought of paying for it. For example, if you're living in a Muslim community, the mother of a child may send her child to ask for a cup of salt or a cup of sugar because they haven't had the ability to go out shopping and they haven't bought it. Or to use a pan, or to use a vacuum cleaner because the vacuum cleaner of their house is broken down. So al-ma'un, it means these kinds of small beneficial things that people ask for from time to time. This is what al-ma'un is. And the strange thing about this is that when a person gets a knock on the door from the neighbor and he has the ability to help out this neighbor by giving him what he needs, this actually makes a person feel good and makes him pleased that he was able to assist his neighbor at his time of need. And this also strengthens the bonds of brotherhood between neighbors. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the munafiqeen and the people that reject the hereafter, that they even deny a person who asks for these very small and minimal things, they deny them their help. They don't want to help. وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ, they even prevent from giving the ma'un these small benefits or these small kindnesses. And before I finish, al-ma'un can also mean rain. And the rain is such that it benefits everyone. It benefits the sinner, whoever asks for it. So this is another meaning that we can derive from al-ma'un. So again, the summary, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ, do you see the person who denies a deen, which is religion, or the day of recompense? فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُ الْيَتِيمِ, that is the person who pushes away the orphan. وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ, and he does not encourage the food of the poor person. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ, and destruction or a valley in the hellfire is for those people that pray, الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ, but they are neglectful of their prayers. الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ, and even when they do good deeds, they are doing them to show off to people. وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ, and they prevent small acts of kindness and small acts of benefit. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us tawfiq to understand what has been said and heard. Please stand by for the grammatical analysis. Assalamu ala Rasulillah. Inshallah, we're going to be doing the tafseer or the analysis of Surah Al-Ma'oon. The first word of Surah Al-Ma'oon is Ara'ayta. So this Hamza you see at the beginning, this Hamza or Alif, just remember the rule that whenever you have an Alif with a Hamza on top of it, that is actually a Hamza. Or Alif with a Haraka on it, that is actually a Hamza. Okay? The real Alif is only that Alif that does not have any Haraka on it. Like the word Qala, that Alif in the middle. So in any case, this Hamza at the beginning, it is an interrogative Hamza. Okay? And if you want to, for example, ask a question, sometimes you ask it with this Hamza at the beginning. أَزَيْدٌ قَائِمٌ, أَزَيْدٌ قَائِمٌ, is Zayd standing? So here the question is أَرَأَيْتَ.
Did you see? So the meaning of this hamza changes according to the context and the sentence that is being used. So in this particular context, because the word ra'ayta is being used, so the translation would become did you see? Did you see? The word ra'ayta, it is from ra'a yara. Ra'a yara. And the root letters are ra, hamza, and ya. Ra'a ya. So it became ra'a, the past tense, and ra'ayta is second person, and the one being addressed here is the Prophet ﷺ, and indirectly we are also being addressed. This ta at the end is indicative of the masculine singular second person. So if it was a tu, for example, it would mean I. If it was a ti, it would be a single feminine that you are addressing in second person. So the question is, أرأيت, did you see? الذي, this is ism mawsula, يكذب, the one who denies, بالدين, the judgment. And the deen can mean two things, as you already heard in the tafsir. It can mean the religion, or it can mean the day of recompense. And the word deen is from the word dain, and dain is something is كذب, and the mudari, the present tense, is يكذب. So كذب يكذب, it means to lie, and كذب يكذب, it means to deny or denounce. So again the translation, do you see the one who denies the day of judgment? فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم. Then that, so this fa is, it can be known as fa للتعقيب, or it can be fa for jaza. And I don't want to complicate things further, but many words in Arabic, they have different meanings in different contexts. So in this particular context, it means then. Okay, so it is after the question is being asked, did you see the one who denounces the day of judgment? Then ذلك, ذلك is ismul ishara, and it is for ba'id. Ba'id means for far away. So you're pointing something at far away, you're saying that. And this is a kind of an expression of disgust, that you are regarding something even though that he may be close to you in position, but you want him to be far away. So that's why the word ذَلِكَ is used. فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي, so that is الَّذِي, the one, يَدُعُّ, that pushes away, الْيَتِيم, the orphan. So يَدُعُّ, the actual root letter of يَدُعُّ is dal, ain, and Ain. These are the three root letters. And I've mentioned it before that whenever you get two of the same letter, then what you do is you combine both of them together and you put a shadda on top. So the past tense would be da'a, and the present tense would become yadu'u. Yadu'u. Okay, so this is yadu'u. Al-yatim, we know what that is. Al-yatim means orphan, and the root letter is ya, ta, and ma. Keep in mind again that most nouns and verbs, they all are derived from three root letters, sometimes four, and rarely five. Wala yahuddu, and he does not encourage, or in this case, the translation is put as feel the urge. So yahuddu actually means to encourage other people. Yahuddu, the root letter is ha, da, and da. So these are the three root letters, and I've mentioned already that when you have two of the same kind of letters, they are joined together and a shadda is put on top of them. So the past tense would become hadda, and the present tense or the mudari would become yahuddu. Yahuddu. This is what it is. Wala yahuddu. He does not encourage, or he does not feel the urge. Ala, upon. Ala is a harful jar. It's a preposition, and the prepositions, you know what happens to them. They are attached in front of nouns, and the noun that follows it, it will give it a kasra. So this meme, it has a kasra because of ala. Ala ta'ami. Ta'am means food, and here it refers to the feeding of the miskeen. We've already discussed why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word ta'am rather than it'am, but ta'am means food. Al-miskeen, the poor person, and the root letter of miskeen is sin, kaf, and noon. The noon here, it has a kasra because of idafa, because of possession. So the like kitabu Zaydin. Okay, so this is Zayd's book. So this dal has a kasra because of the possession that is taking place here. Zayd's book, or book of Zayd. So here, the food of the miskeen, food of the poor person. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. Fa, so, like I mentioned before, the fa can have different meanings, and here the meaning is also, it could be for ta'qib, basically as a result of the person doing such and such an action. For wailun, there is destruction, or wail means also woe, curse, and so on. And also there is a saying or a hadith that wail is actually a valley in the deepest part of the hellfire. So that is another interpretation. So wail, the root letter is waw, ya, and lam, and the fa, we already mentioned, that is for ta'qib. Lil musallin, for the ones that pray. Okay, musallin, the singular form is musallin, and if you put alif lam on it, it will become al-musalli, al-musalli, and the plural form is al-musallun or musallin. Both can be used. al-musallun and al-musallin. And the root letter of musalli is sad, lam, and waw. Okay, sad, lam, and waw. Where did the waw disappear to? That is a subject for more advanced students, inshallah, but we won't discuss that here. الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ. Those people, now this is ism mawsula, plural. Whom, they, is a pronoun. An, from. This is, an is harful jar. And you can tell it's harful jar. Why? Because this ta here, it has a kasra. Because of an, the ta on salat, it has a kasra. So those people that about or from, this an has two meanings. From or about. Salatihim, their salat. Sahun, they are forgetful or neglectful. Both meanings apply. So this word sahun, the root letter is actually sin, ha, and ya. Three root letters. And sahun was actually sa, he, yuna. Originally it was sahi, yuna. And because you want to just make it easy to say, and there are rules related to this, you remove the ya and you just give this a dhamma and it becomes sahun. Again, like I said, there are rules related to that, but originally it was sahiyuna. Sahiyuna, and the root letter is sin, ha, and ya. Alladhina hum, again, alladhina is ism mawsula, plural. Hum, they, pronoun. Yura'un, they make a show. This yura'un, it is from the same root letter as before, ra, a, ya, but it is from bab if'al. So the past tense is ara, and the mudari is yuri. Actually, I made a mistake. It is ra'a yura'i. This is from bab mufa'ala. So this is not from bab if'al. Okay, just tend to make mistakes sometimes. Okay, so the past tense would be ra, a, and the mudari is yura'i. Ra'a, yura'i. The root letters are exactly the same, but when it comes from bab mufa'ala, generally it means people that are doing things amongst each other or in comparison with each other. So, قابل يقابل, for example. قابل يقابل مقابلة. Muqabala, it is a word for an interview because you are in front of each other. Two people in front of each other. They are making from the word qabl, to be in front of. Okay, so muqabala, two people in front of each other. So ra'a yura'i, it means to be in front of each other and seeing each other. So alladhina hum yura'un, those people that they show each other, meaning when they're praying, they show each other. This is referring to the munafiqeen. وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. يَمْنَعُونَ, the root letter is ma, na, a. It's pretty clear that that is the plural mudari. The root letter is mim, noon, and ayn. And in this particular form, it is yamna'u, and the plural yamna'una. They prevent. In Urdu, we say the same thing, mana kiya, okay, to prevent something from happening, or they deny. The translation is written there, And AlMa'oon, the root letter is Mim, Ain, and Noon, and it became Ma'oon. Ma'oon, one of the meanings is rain, but generally speaking, it refers to those things that people borrow without even thinking about it and without making a big deal out of it. Like neighbors, they go and ask their neighbors to borrow a pot or to take half a cup of salt or some sugar or an onion or potatoes, something like that, that they may have forgotten to bring in their grocery. And when you go to the neighbor, it basically is so trivial that you would give it to them and not even think about being repaid for it or anything of that nature. So these people, the munafiqeen, what do? يَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. They prevent even these small kindnesses, and they do not give them to people that are asking for them. With that, we complete the translation and the analysis. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to understand and practice what has been said and heard.